Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Saurabh. I'll be taking your presentations today. So, since everyone has already raised their hands, I will go by the order of raised hands. And the first presenter is Jaswanth I. Jaswanth S. Eh, Yeah, we can unmute.
Hello,
Yes, Jaswanth.
1 minute. I'm present.
Is it Jaswanth?
Jaswanth, yes. The sharing is disabled.
Yeah, yeah, you can share your screen now.
Is the screen visible?
Uh, yeah, yeah, it's visible now.
Okay. So, hello everybody. I'm Jaswanth. Today I'll be taking a presentation on control structures in JavaScript. JavaScript is a web programming language that can be used on the front end or the back end to manage different types of databases, and it's a high-level dynamic interpreted language. Control structures are basically what makes the flow of the execution of the code, or different types of statements to execute when the appropriate conditions are met. So first type of control structure is if statements. If statements, like the example here, if x is more than 5, it will execute this console log message. If it isn't greater than that, that part of the code will be just skipped for that. Next is else statement. So there's two types of if and else. First, if we'll have a condition there, then it will execute it. If that doesn't work or the condition isn't met, that will directly go to the else statement. And in else statement, there's no need for the condition like if x greater than 5, they'll just execute it. Then else if statements. So if multiple if statements are needed, see like if else if and then else. So multiple if can be put into the code. X is greater than 15, x is greater than 5. Among all these, only one will execute. First, it will go through if it is greater than that, it will execute that console log message, and it will come out of that. This two will be ignored. If it goes through this and it doesn't execute the code, then the else will run it. Next is switch statements. So one first you'll get the variable that you'll use for the switch statement. So let is equal to Monday. So Monday is the statement here. Switch you'll use it, and different types of cases you'll write based on the statement or variable. Case of Monday. So this console log will execute. If the day was Tuesday, this case will execute. And if none of the cases meet, default case will run. And next is while loops. So first variables is declared, and in while loop, if x is greater than or less than, we will basically give a condition there. After the condition is done, body of the loop is the given console log message, or x is greater than anything we can give it there. It will run until the x is greater than 5, until the less than 5. So this output statement, like which goes out of the loop, that is necessary for this. You can't run the loop infinitely. Next is the for loop. In this for loop, it's similar to while loop, but there's three types of constraints. First is starting constraint, the ending constraint, and how it will behave during the loop. First, it will start from 0, then it will stop at 5, and in the middle of it, every loop, it will increase by 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the output for this. Demo of the project is using the control structures. I built this. So first is if you press and hold it, it will do this. So if statement, then different types of, you can draw anything, etch a sketch, canvas this is. And if the button is pressed, it will reset. And if there's no user input, or if you give a user input, say 21, it will change the square of this. and there's a eraser. That's all for the demo, and that's it now. The presentation. If there's any questions, I'll take.
So Jaswant, are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Uh, Between if else and switch, which is faster?
If is faster. Like if there's two statements, if else or else if, then switch is used for large cases of variables.
Okay. Uh, Let me tell you. So yeah, your end presentation PPT, the last slide didn't have any link to your to whether to how to contact you, like your email ID or your GitHub link was missing. You can work on that. Overall, it was an okay presentation. You lack a hook story, so you know how what importance a hook story has for a PPT, right? And then there was this your demo slide was very nice. You did the demonstration very well, and it contained everything. I felt like it was bit rushed. Like you started with a good flow, but then after explaining everything, the PPT was like lacking something. And yeah, overall the PPT was good. You should work on your hook story and your Q&A slide. Just a second, I'll unmute you. Yeah, you can unmute yourself.
No, yes, got it.
Okay. So have you understood what I said?
Yeah, there's a statement, and I rushed the presentation.
Yeah.
There's need to be a contact details for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the rest was okay. Your presentation was nice, and your demo was nice. Thank you for the presentation. We'll go next. So next is Vishal. Please unmute yourself, Vishal. Just a second. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
If you are audible. Yeah, you're audible. Please turn on your camera. Hmm. You can share your screen.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
So, this is my project. It was Caesar Cipher, DRDO cryptography and cryptanalysis. So, what is Caesar Cipher? So, Caesar Cipher is the earliest techniques or simple methods of encryption technique. It's simply the substitution cipher. It means that each letter of a given text, it will replace by with a fixed position, number of position down the alphabet. For example, if there is a shift of one, A will be replaced by B and D will become C, and so on. So this method is apparently named after Julius Caesar, who apparently used it communicate with his officials. So important definition in C cipher. So what is plain text is a simple message which is to be communicated, and ciphertext is an encrypted text, the coded text we can say. Encryption is the process of converting plain text into ciphertext. Plain text to ciphertext is encryption, and decryption is the process of converting ciphertext into plain text. So how to this is the process of cipher. Means first row denotes the plain text. This is ABCD. Suppose there is ABCD, and second row is ciphertext. Means A, and there is a key shift of 3. It means we have shift of 3. So it will A will become D, and B will become E, and C will become F, and so on like this. So encryption process, suppose there is text like my name Vishal, then after shifting each letter by 3 to the right, it will become this YLVKTO. So here the key is 3, means offset is called key, which is 3. And decryption technique process is the opposite of the encryption process. It will opposite the that text. So algorithm for Cipher, input is a string of lowercase letters called text. Means we will input a string, and procedure is traverse the given text one character at a time. We will traverse the whole string one character at a time, and for each character we will transform the given character as per the rule, which is shifting by some key given key, shift down the alphabet, and we will return the new string after the process. So what are the advantages? It is easy to implement and use, requires only a small set of pre-shared information, can be modified easily to create more secure variant, such as by using multiple shift values of keywords. Disadvantages are it is not secure against modern decryption methods, as it is too old, and it is not suitable for long text encryption, as it would be easy to crack. So I have written code for that. This one. Is it visible? Hello, sir.
No, it's not visible yet.
Code.
No, it's not visible.
Now.
It's visible now.
Yeah. So this is the code for this. So I have taken the text. It will input the string. Means we have to input the text input. We have to get input from the user. So it will include a string result, and we will take input from the user by this. So if the input text is a lower case, then it will convert it into the uppercase automatically by this, and then we have to encrypt the then we have to our main then we will use this the shift the main process of this Caesar cipher, that it will shift the given it will shift the each text each letter with a given position, which will input from the user also, which will be the key, and then it will shift the current letter to the message with given position to the right. Then suppose if the shifted letter is greater than Z, then it will return back to the it will return back to the it will again start from the A to Z again. Okay, then this is decryption technique. It will do opposite of that, and then this is the main class. This is the main function. We will take input from the user using scanner, and we will input take key also. After that, this. So suppose I have taken input like Vishal mining, then it will ask for key, then ask for the 3. So this is the encrypted message, and decrypted message is Vishal, which is same again. So this was my presentation for first task, and again I have another task also.
So is this over? This task?
Yes, sir. This task is over, and again 2 tasks are remaining.
Okay, so you're going to continue. Okay.
Okay. The next task was developing a RESTful web service. So this is the content, starting with the introduction. So what is REST? So REST is a representational state transfer, is an architectural site that defines the set of constraints to be used for creating web services. REST API is way of accessing web services in simple and flexible way without having any processing. Means REST API without processing we can use that. And it is developed by Roy Thomas Fielding, who also developed the HTTP method. And the REST is an architectural approach. So it revolves around the resource where every component and a resource is processed by common interface using HTTP standard methods. So web service, what is web service? The internet is the worldwide connectivity of hundreds of thousands computers of various types that belongs to the multiple networks. And on the World Wide Web, web service is a standardized method for preparing messages between client and server applications. So web service is a software module that is intended to carry out a specific set of functions. In cloud computing can be found and invoked over the network. The web service would be able to deliver functionality to the client and that invoke the web service. So what is RESTful web service? RESTful web service is a lightweight, maintainable, and scalable service that is built on the REST architecture. REST is a architecture, and the RESTful web service exposes API from your application in a secure, uniform, stateless manner to the calling client. So this is the diagram. This is the figure. There is a client and this is the server. So client will send a request to the server, and according to the request that is sent, the server will respond to that and it will send response. So this is generally high. This is a RESTful web service are highly scalable, light, maintainable, and are used to create APIs for web-based applications. It exposes API from an application in secure, stateless manner to the client. The protocol for the REST is HTTP. So we use HTTP protocol here. Characteristic of RESTful web services. So client server, a pool-based interaction style consuming component pool representations. So named resources, the system is comprised of resources which are named using URL. Uniform interface, all resources are accessed with the generic interface like HTTP get, post, put, delete. We use these methods. This is like, and then principle of RESTful web services. Describe how your services are to be invoked using either a VSDL document or simply HTML document. Categorize your resources according to whether clients can just receive a representation of the resource or whether clients can modify the resource. So these are the principles of RESTful web services. Then this is architecture. This is the architecture of RESTful web REST. There are 6 architectural constraints which makes any web service. These are uniform interface, stateless, cacheable, a client server, layered system, and code on demand. So this is the server and this is the database. This is the client. Client will send a request to the server, and according to the request, server will respond with the help of database and service provider, and it will send response to the step to build a RESTful web service. So 4 main steps are there. To implement the domain model, create the author domain class, and then implement the data source layer, create an in-memory database, implement the presentation layer, create the REST endpoints, and pull the application together, create the main method that will run the application. And these are the some 4 methods used for developing RESTful web service. So get with using get, we can request to read a web page. With using put, we can request to store a web page. With the help of post, we can add a new web page to the chat, and with the help of delete, we can remove a web page. So what are the advantages? So speed, as there is no those strict specifications. So REST is faster as compared to SOAP, which is simple object access protocol. It also consumes fewer resources and bandwidth. Compatible with SOAP, RESTful web services are compatible with SOAP, which can be used as implementation. Language and platform independency. RESTful web services can be written in any programming language. and can be used on any platform. So this is very important, and support various data formats like HTML, XML, plain text, and JSON. Also, disadvantages are there some. So REST is a lightweight architecture, but it is not suitable to handle a complex environment, which is handled by the SOAP usually. And REST requests are not suitable for large amount of data, and can only be HTTP protocol only, and will only work on HTTP protocol. Summary. So in this task we learn about the web service REST, its architecture, how to build REST web service, and also we got the RESTful web service while developing a web service. We learned about building a RESTful web service step by step. There were many 4 steps to build the RESTful web service, and then we saw advantages, disadvantages. So thank you, sir. So again, I have made this Spring REST. So is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
So this is the REST API I have made. This is the main application. Then I have made a class there, a controller, REST controller. It will REST controller. Then entities, Spring REST. I have taken courses. This is the format in which the courses will be saved. This is the interface of service. This is the, and this is service. There are some, this is database means it will access from this. Suppose I have done. After running all this, it runs successfully, and it will start our port on Tomcat started on port 8080. So suppose we one second.
So, Vishal, is a presentation over?
Yes, sir. 1 minute. Suppose I write local. Or is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
So if I write this, so it will return this is the core application platform. As there was in my controller, there was written home in home. It will return the this is the core application platform. And if I write courses, then it will return the this all courses. Let me show. So this will return all these courses. So this is the answer. So again, next task. Hello.
Yeah, just a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, let Vishal continue. After Vishal's presentation is done, you continue and then
This is the last one.
Okay, you can continue.
So next task is a stock trading application. The task name was overview of project synopsis. This is the content. Start with what is the overview of project synopsis. So a project overview is an outline of a project that describes important details about it. And a project overview includes the basic information such as the project name, project manager, and sponsors like that. And it also includes the detailed information that summarizes the project value, the problem it may solve, and the goals and the team hopes to achieve. A synopsis is a brief summary which gives readers an overview of the main points. In an academic context, this is usually summary of the text. To start with the introduction, so as my main, this is the topic, stock of application, trading application. So a stock trading application is a software that allows user to buy and sell stocks and other securities through their computer and mobile devices. The application provide real-time stock quotes, historical price data, the news related to the stock market. It can also provide the tools for technical analysis and portfolio management. Some popular stock trading applications are this Robinhood, eTrade, TD Ameritrade, and Charles Chubb. So this is it looks like, so this is the stock trading application. It somewhat look like this. We can download it on our mobile also. Statement about the problem. In stock trading, one has to face few challenges such as lack of discipline, incorrect choice of the market, lack of proper tools to trade, lack of hard work, lack of low speed of information, and blindly trusting on analysts. To overcome above mentioned challenges, we need some kind of software which can help us so that we can trade properly and with ease, and which will eventually improve our trading. So this stock trading application help us to this also. So what is the need of stock trading application? So there are some reasons behind it, because number of investors are soaring up and lack of performance. In offline trading, the lack of performance is there. That's why we need this stock application trading. Lower risk adjustment performance. Many people hesitate to take a risk in offline trading. That's why this is very useful. Again, keeping self interest on top. Managing the user portfolio provides a reliable platform for account protection. Send real-time alert data and no need to open brokerage account. Objective and scope. The objective of stock trading application is to provide investors with a platform to buy, sell stocks and manage their investment portfolios efficiently. The application should allow the investor to access real-time market data, view chart, technical indicators, place orders, and monitor their position in user-friendly secure environment. Scope. However, the application should generally include the following features: user registration and authentication, real-time market data, charting, technical analysis, order placement and management, portfolio management, and payment and transaction processing. Methodology of this. The methodology for developing a stock application can vary depending on the specific requirements of user and feature of the application also. However, some general steps are as followed. So first is requirement gathering. So the first step is gather the requirements for the application, and this includes the understanding the needs of user. According to the needs of user, we will gather the requirements, the type of stocks, the trading strategies, and any regulatory requirements. After that, we will design that application. This includes the creating wireframes, mockups of the user interface, defining the architecture of the application, and creating data models to represent the stocks, trades, and other entities. And after design, we will develop that application. This includes the writing the front end code, means main coding part will be done here, using frameworks such as JavaScript or JavaFX, and the backend code using the programming language such as Java and Python. The hardware used is a computer with multi-core processor, at least 8 GB RAM, high-speed internet connection with low latency, and high bandwidth to ensure fast, reliable data transfer. Monitor with high resolution to display the multiple windows and charts simultaneously. And additional monitors, trading desk, and backup power supply are optional. And software used is operating system, Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. IDE like Eclipse, IntelliJ, and NetBeans, and JDK kit to compile and run Java code, Java Singh or JavaFX for the front-end user interface, Java or Python for the backend code and data processing, DBMS such as MySQL, PostgreSQL, or Oracle to store the manage the data, application servers such as Apache Tomcat like this, and trading API or data provider to access real-time market data and execute trades. Security software to ensure the application is secure and user data is protected. Contribution of stock trading application. A stock trading application can make several contributions, like lower cost. Stock trading applications often offer the lower fees and commissions compared to the traditional brokerage firms. A stock for improved access. A stock trading application provides investors with real-time access to the stock market from anywhere in the world. A convenience. It is a much more convenient application allows investors to buy and sell stock and manage their portfolios from the comfort of their homes and offices. As it is online, we can use from anywhere. Increased competition. The rise of stock trading application has increased the competition in brokerage industry, leading to the lower cost, improved services, and greater innovation. Many stock education. Many stock trading application offer research, news, and analysis tools that can help investors learn about the stock market and make informed trading decisions. To conclusion, with real-time access to the markets, lower cost, increased convenience, educational tools, investors can make informed trading decisions and achieve their investment goals more effectively with the help of this stock trading application. The development of stock trading application requires careful planning, design, and implementation to ensure that the application is stable, secure, and functional. By following a structured methodology and choosing appropriate hardware and software, developers can create a high quality application that meets the need of user. So overall, a stock trading application can make significant contribution to the brokerage industry by improving the access of convenience, education, competition. This benefits investor by providing more options, better services, and improved opportunity for financial growth and stability. Thank you.
So Vishal, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you show me your first presentation?
There is visible.
Yeah, it's visible. So I wanna talk few points about this presentation. As you can see, you have included so many lines. You could have done a simple thing like include a few lines, like 2 to 3 lines, and then explain it by yourself.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
so there's just like too much content on a PPT, on a single slide, the PPT. So if I'm a viewer, so I can't just read and listen to you at the same time. And then again, uh, just can you just scroll down there? Seventh, eighth slide. Yeah, yeah. Then yeah. So on the last slide. So yeah, as you can see, there is no Q&A slide. So this PPT is missing a Q&A slide. So if even I want to ask a question, so you should add an Q&A slide as well, right? Yeah, and then as you can see, uh, so can you change your second presentation? Overall, this PPT, this first presentation was okay. You explained it very well, but then there was some few missing points there, as I mentioned.
okay.
You can work on them.
I will.
And secondly, again, as you can see, with this presentation as well, you have included many lines in a single slide. So what you can do is, yeah, just add few lines and then explain it by yourself.
Okay.
And then there was this demo. There was no demo, right? Like the demo slide was. Can you just change the slide to 6th? Yeah, so you explained this part very well. I like how you explained this part. And again, this PPT doesn't have any Q&A slide. You're missing that Q&A slide.
I will take care from next time.
Yeah, and then again, if I talk about the third presentation as well, you have included too many content
Sir,
in a single slide.
yes, sir.
Yeah, so you need to work on that. Rest, you explained it very well. It's just those missing points.
The last presentation, because it was only presentation, that's why.
You could have made a demo of it. Like you actually missed
No, there was
some.
no demo, sir.
Wait, Vishal and Saurabh. So
Yeah.
Vishal is right. You don't need to create demo for the overview project. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, for the demo, we will score differently based on how well the presentation was done. Okay.
Okay.
So I think you don't know about this. That is why I'm telling you. For overview or synopsis or SRS presentation, you
Yes,
don't
okay.
need the demo. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then first thing that I would like to add, see, Saurabh has given you really good pointers. Okay, but first thing that I would say, see, Vishal, today I am conducting present meetings from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, with only 10 minutes break, and then I'm conducting 7 to 9. The way you have given the presentation, literally, if like I don't have like energy to wake, stay like to listen, I will really sleep. See, always when you're giving a presentation, have some kind of energy. Okay, if you
Yes,
have energy, then your presentation will be something will get some meaning out of it. I don't know how many people are sleeping and how many people have removed their earphone and just looking at somewhere else. Okay, always have some kind of energy. Okay, practice how to give presentations. And first thing I would say is, see, I can literally see your mouse cursor tracing over the text and you were just reading over it. This is a really bad thing. See, if you would like to read it, that is completely okay, because we understand that it is really hard to remember all these things. Put it in the slideshow view, then your pointer will be hidden and then you can read it. Okay, that is completely normal. But see, do some pre-preparation before you come for presentation and have some kind of energy. Okay, other than that, I would say always build a story. Say when you have Caesar cipher. So what is Caesar cipher? Can you tell me what is Caesar cipher?
Caesar cipher is an encryption technique which was earlier used by the Germans to code to uh, used for armies to conduct to share our information, secret information to the commanders. Like,
Okay, stop now.
yeah,
See, if I just pick some guy who is joining for the first time, who don't know Caesar cipher, they will not know the story that you have just told me because you failed to deliver the story. See, you know the story, but you failed to deliver it. So work on that part. Other than that, see, I'm telling you this because the content you have put in your PPT is really good. You have talent for the content, but work on your delivery. Okay.
okay, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
So
Then
because
I
I
would
was in a hurry that I thought that many people are waiting. That's why.
don't
You
care
don't.
about
I'm
other people. Okay.
okay.
See, you are here for your marks. If they get more marks, they are not going to come to you and console you. Okay. They will be like, I don't know who this guy is. Look for your marks. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Vishal. So I would like
Thank
to
you.
talk to Sajal Gupta. I believe he is the next in the meeting, right? In the queue.
Should I
Can you
stop
unmute
sharing?
him? Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable points, sir. Next is Sajal.
Yeah. I would like to talk to him about some topics.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Can I leave?
Yeah,
Sajal.
sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sajal. So you messaged me in the chat that you have given 3 presentation, right?
Yes, sir.
See, I have record for the 1 presentation, and that is create a RESTful web service
Yes,
in
sir.
Java that was done on 22 March.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
can you tell me date for the next 2 presentation on the topic?
Sir, the first presentation I did was DRDO SAG, SAG.
Yeah.
And
Date.
So like the date was in March, sir. I will, after giving my presentation, I'll just text you after checking on the mail when I
Have
presented
you
you.
received scores for that?
Like sir, while I was talking to the technical support, I wanted to convert my intern into paid intern. So I received a mail like I haven't been scored for any of my presentations till now. So like I just wanted to know ki, like why aren't my presentations not scored, or is there
See,
any
if
problem?
your presentation was done on 22 March, okay, then it is scored. Okay. I will confirm with sir also, because all the interns who have given their presentation in the March, they
Yes,
are
sir.
scored confirmed from my side. I will talk to them. Okay. Just give me the date and the topic name for the other two presentations. One was SSG and other one was.
So one was SAG and other was DRDO. DRDO. Oh, sorry. Caesar Cipher.
Okay, so Caesar Cipher and SSG, right? So
Yeah.
you don't remember the date?
Like sir, right now I don't remember, but I will check the mail and will text
Is
you
it in
back.
March?
Yes, sir. One was in February itself, like, and the second one was, I believe, in end of Feb or like first week of March only.
First one was in Feb,
Yes, sir.
and second one was in end of Feb or
Yeah.
first week of March, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do me one thing, message me on the WhatsApp. I will look into it. Okay.
Okay, sure, sir.
Yeah.
Uh,
You can start with your presentation. Saurabh, please take over. Sorry for the
Yeah,
interruption.
yes. So you can start, Sajal.
yes, sir. Just sharing my screen.
Yeah.
So is my screen visible?
Uh, yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Just a second. Good evening. Today, I, Sajal Gupta from Java Developers Group, will like to present on the topic of Introduction to Spring Framework. Talking about the contents we will cover today, we will get to know about this, what is Framework, what are the features of Spring Framework, advantages of Spring Framework, and we'll get short details about other Spring Frameworks modules like Spring MVC, Spring Boot, and Spring Data. Now coming to like what is Spring Framework? Spring Framework is an open source application framework for Java platform. It provides like comprehensive infrastructure support for developing Java applications. The Spring Framework was created by Rod Johnson and was first released in 2003. Since then, it has become one of the most popular Java framework used by developers worldwide. Now coming to the features of Spring Framework, like the first feature is inversion of control IOC container. The Spring Framework provides an IOC container that manages the lifecycle of an Java objects. Coming to the second feature, dependency injection. The Spring Framework supports DI, which is a programming technique for managing dependencies between objects, and it allows you to decouple your application components and promotes modularity and reusability. Third is aspect-oriented programming. Spring Framework supports aspect-oriented programming, which is programming technique for separating cross-cutting concerns from the core business logic. It also allows us to modularize our application and provide a better code organization. Transaction management, it allows us to manage the transactions across multiple resources like database or messaging queues, etc. Coming to the advantages of Spring Framework, the first advantage is here we can use the plain old Java object, which is like this means that like you don't need an enterprise container like Java server, and also it helps us to get rid of conventional enterprise Java beans. Therefore, this makes Spring Framework a lightweight framework. Second advantage is flexibility for configuring Spring. Like Spring can support Spring can support the use of XML configuration as well as Java based annotations for configuring the Spring beans. Therefore, like it provides the flexibility of using any one of them for deploying the enterprise application. We do not require any server to run our application, as this is a lightweight container. This is a lightweight container, and like coming to ease of testability, by using the injections of test data with the use of like Java beans and plain old Java objects, we can uh, we can inject and increase the ease of testability and use of modularity. Like the Spring framework provides modularity to the developers. It helps them to choose which package or class can be used or ignored, and it also helps the developers to identify and choose the packages uh, without any problem and with ease. Now coming to Spring MVC. Spring MVC separates the concern of application into three layers. The first is model layer, the second the view layer, and the third control layer. The model layer is responsible for managing the data of application. The view layer is responsible for rendering the user interface, and the control layer is responsible for handling the user input and coordinating the interactions between model and the view. This seems like controller acts as a middleman between model and the view. And like Spring MVC can easily be integrated with other Spring frameworks like Spring Security, Spring Data, Spring Boot to provide a complete solution for building enterprise level of web applications. Now, a short paragraph about Spring Boot. Spring Boot provides a set of pre-configured conventions and tools that makes it easier to create a standalone production grade Spring-based applications. There are basically three simple Spring Boot annotations that provides this feature. The first is Spring Boot application, second is enable auto configuration, and third is component scan. Spring Boot application is used in the entry point of the application, and the class it resides in need to have the application main method. Enable auto configuration does just that. It provides each of the representing class with the auto configuration capability. And the third component scan initializes all the scans of beans and package declarations. Now, introduction to Spring Data. Spring Data is a project driven by Spring that aims at providing a consistent data access layer for various data stores, right from relation to NoSQL databases. Spring Data JPA is basically a sub project of Spring Data that provides an abstraction over the data access layer using Java Persistence API and ORM, that is object relation mapping. We can use Hibernate for this. And ORM, as I said, ORM stands for object relation mapping, where a Java object maps to a database entity, and with APIs, we need to work with objects and not with the native queries. That's all about my presentation. Is there any questions and answers I would like to answer? Okay, thank you. For more information, you can contact on my details as mentioned in the slide. So I'm done with the presentation.
Okay. Okay. I would like to add some few points.
Yes, sir.
As I can see, while you were presenting, you were like missing that hook story. You could have added some hook story to it, although it's more like conceptual basis
Yes, sir.
topic.
It was
But
all about theory, like introduction to all the Spring frameworks and all
yeah,
the features.
and then it's good like you added few lines and then you explained it by yourself.
Yes,
But
sir.
still, I saw that you were at some slides you were like literally reading the slides, and there was this communication gap between you and your viewers. So you could
Okay,
have just like prepared before giving presentation. So like lack of preparedness was missing from your side.
okay, sir.
Overall, the flow was good. The PPT you have created, it's okay, and you presented it well. You have like flow charts and pointers. So overall, it was an okay presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so next is Bhavna Jha.
Yes, sir.
Ah, yeah, you can share your presentation.
Yes, sir. 1 minute. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, it's visible. You can start.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bhavna Jha. Currently, I'm pursuing my MCA from Patna Women's College. I joined this organization on 2nd of January as full stack web development intern. So today my presentation topic is what is functions, scope, and closures in JavaScript. So in this task, we have to understand the concept of function, scopes, and closure, and we have to build a simple web page that include at least 2 functions, custom functions, and the variable that are scoped within different functions, and closures that captures and use variables from an outer functions. So I built the web page regarding these things, but include this on example slide of each topic. So my today agenda is about the brief introduction about the JavaScript, and let's move on the main topic that what is functions, what is scope, and what is closure in JavaScript, and then a overall summary of the whole topic. Now move on the introduction part of the JavaScript, that is what is JavaScript. So JavaScript is basically a scripting language that is used for the web development. So it's come with the conjunction of 2 language, that is HTML and CSS. So what is HTML? HTML is used for to design the search for the layout of the web page, and CSS provide the styling to the content. And JavaScript helps us to JavaScript provide us the functions and behavior to the web pages to create an interactive and dynamic web pages. So that is the JavaScript. So in JavaScript we have multiple core principles. So one of the uh, core principles are the functions, scopes, and the closures. So let's move on our main topic, that is what is functions. So functions in JavaScript is nothing but a code of block that is designed to perform a particular task. Means a simple subprogram which can call multiple times. So a function gets executed when we call that function. So a function, we have to define a function with a function name, and with function, we have a function parameters, we have their bodies, and we have the return type of statement includes with this functions. So what is the benefits of using the functions? So it's provide us the code reusability, which means that you can create the function one time and you can call it multiple times in different purpose, and it makes our program easier as it divide small task each small task is divided into functions. So let's move on. Let's understand how the function works. So here we have the different working of a function without a parameter, with a parameter, and with a return statement. So here in the first example, first syntax, we have a greet function without parameter, and with the help of greet here we call the functions. With the help of the greet, we can call the functions greet, and whatever the written inside the code, it gets executed. And in case of the working of the with the parameter, what is a parameter? A parameter is a value that is passed whenever declaring a function. So when we with a function we with a function, when we call here the name acts as a parameter, and here in the greet section where we call the function, here name acts as an argument. So in case of return statement, what is return statement? So the return statements can be used to return the value to the function calls, and the return statement denotes that the functions has ended, and any code written as return, it means the code ended over here. So this is all over the functions, working of the functions. So let's move on the example, and you can say that this is my demonstration of my project that I created. So here I took multiple functions, custom functions, where first function is the hello, where I pass an argument name and call it as, and it shows as output as hello Bhavna, and I call declare a variable as, and I call a function square and cube, means a function within a function. So first we here the in case of the function, always the right hand side functions will gets executed first, then the left hand side will gets executed. So here first the square, and under the cube the function gets executed. So the first the cube function will be called, and whatever the here written in the cube function, it gets executed, then the square function will gets called and gets executed. So in case of cube, when the cube function was called, 2 as an argument pass over here, and num and num stored in the temp variable, and then the output will be 8, and it's stored in the temp variable, and here it shows it's storing answer and shows the result as 8. And again, now the square of 8 will be called, so 8 here will be called as num, and it's returned as output as 64. Means first the cube will be cube function will be called, and then the square function will be called. And I also create an function that is prime. So here I apply the logic that if the function, if the number between 2 to num minus 1, then if the number is divisible by 2 to n, if the number is not divisible by 2 to n minus 1, num minus 1, then it is a prime number, and it is divisible, then it is not a prime number. So here is the logic of that function, and I with the help of this logic here I print display the number between 1 to 100. So this is the output of my program. So first, the function will be hello function will be called, and it's print hello Bhavna, and it's square and cube of the number. Square and cube function will be called, and it's print as output and 64, and the prime number between 1 to 100. That is these number are displays. That is the prime number. So next move on the slide. We understand then what is functions. Now move on our next topic, that is what is scope in JavaScript. Scope is nothing but it helps us to determine the visibility or the accessibility of variables, objects, and functions from different parts of the code. It provides us only the accessibility, means we have what is the lifetime or what is the range of this variable within the functions, within the block, and within the whole page, what is the scope of the variable and objects. So we have basically three types of scope in JavaScript, that is block scope, function scope, and global scope. But sometimes the function in functional scope, the variable treated as the local variable, and you can say that's local scope. So these types of functions, these three types of scope. First one is the block scope, means whatever things that is written inside the block, this symbol decide the block, it's only accessed inside that. Outside that block, it is not accessible. So let and const are the two keywords that are provide block scope in JavaScript. And in case of functions, variable inside the functions, whatever the variable declared inside the function, accessibility of that function within that functions. And we have variable, const, everything that is declared inside the function. The lifetime of the variable is within the function. And in the case of global scope, the variable, whatever the variable declared in the sorry, outside the scope, means the variable that is declared globally. First, you can declare the variable anywhere, you can declare the variable, and you can access that variable. So the global scope has the accessibility within whole the page. You can declare the variable and access it anywhere. So its lifetime of the global scope is when the web pages gets closed, then the global scopes gets deleted. So let's move on. My work, my demonstration that I create here a global variable as a as 5 and global variable b, where we initialize the value as 10, and I create two functions, that is function my functions and other functions, in which I declare the variable x and access the global variable a and b. For in my function, I access the variable a, global variable a, and in the second case I access the global variable b. So whatever the things written in this inside this function, it is only treated in within this function. If we access this function from if we want to access this function from outside, then it shows error. And in case of the block scope also, whatever the things written in I is equal to 23, j is equal to 50, their scope is within these curly braces. Outside this block, it shows an error. So the output of these program will be this. In case of first, in my functions, the output will be 8, and in in the second case, other function, the output will be 22. And in case of the block scopes, the variable 23 and 50 will be the output. So this is the overall concept of scope in JavaScript. So let's move on our next topic, that is closure. Before understanding what is closure, we have to understand about two things, that is what is nested functions and what is returning of functions in JavaScript. So what is nested function? Nested function is nothing but when we have a function, an outer function, and we call another function inside the function, then it is called as nested function. When we call one function inside another function, that is nested function. And returning a function is nothing but you create two functions like a and b, and you return the functions, means return b. So that is returning a functions. So what is closure? Closure is nothing but as we know that we have nested functions. Earlier we know what is nested function, and function is a function within a function, means nested function. So when the outer function gets closed and we have the access of the outer function from means our inner and outer function both closed, and we have the access of the function, means closure provides the access of the inner function, that is means it says that lexical scope. Here closure provides us a lexical scope, means we close both the program, we close the nested loop, nested functions, but we have the authority to access our outer functions. So that is our closure. So basically closure provides us the data privacy in our program. So let's move on. Let's move on our examples. Here in this program, the calculate functions takes a single argument x and returns the function definition to the multiply functions, and the multiply function takes a single argument, that is y, and returns x and x into y. And both here multiply 3 and multiply 4 are closures, and the calculate function is called passing a parameter x. When multiply 3 to 6 means passing the argument 6, and multiply 4 with passing the argument 2, are called to the multiply function has to the access to pass x argument of the other calculate function. That is the overall uh, examples of the closure, how it's work. So here the output I saw written in the comment, what is the output of this function. When the document write multiply 3 will gets executed, it shows that return the calculate functions definition means it returns all over the function, means function multiply y, return x into y. And in this case, we don't pass any argument, so it's provide that NaN. And in case of 6, in multiply 3 with the argument 6, it's a 6 into 3, multiply into the 3 and provides an output 18. And multiply 4 with argument 2, it's a 2 into 4 is provides 8. So this is the output of the program, where the function, this is first one and this is second one, the third and fourth output. So these are the references that I used to build this PPT. And from this overall summary, from this overall concept, I want to say that means a function, what's a function? Function dividing a complex program into smaller chunks makes your programmer easy to understand and reusable. So that is the best use of functions in JavaScript, reusability of our code. And what scope provides, it provides us the visibility of the program, visibility of our code, the accessibility and visibility of our variable in different part of the code. And with the help of closures, we can provide the data privacy. And we can also say that a function with the lexical environment means it's a new concept, that is it provides a lexical scope to JavaScript. So that is all about my presentations. Thank you. And this is my, if any further details, this is my email ID and the task that I build over here. And this is the GitHub link for that task. Thank you. One second.
So, Bhavna, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Bhavna, I'll say ki overall the presentation flow was very good. You explained from functions, then you went to scope, and then to closure. So the flow was good. The colors we have added in your PPT is good, and you need to work on some format. Like the overall format should be equal. There are I can see that some lines, some texts are different from the others. Like you can say the formatting, the you know the sizes are different, so you need to work on them. Overall, the PPT
Okay.
was good.
Okay.
I will say ki yes, you did give your demo in the PPT, but a live demo would be much preferable.
So
So
it takes a lots of time. Before my presentation, it takes a lots of time. So that's I build in the example slides.
okay, that's true, but still, yeah, you can actually give a
Okay, sir.
live
Okay,
demo.
sir.
Yeah, from next time
Okay,
you
sir.
should give live demo, and then again you included a conclusion slide, which was good. A Q&A slide was missing, as I can see. You
Okay, sir.
didn't include a Q&A slide. Rest your presentation was good. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So moving on next, we have Rakshita Kammara. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. Hello, Rakshita.
Hello, sir.
You're audible now.
Okay, sir.
Please turn on your camera.
Okay, sir. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Can I share my screen,
Yeah,
sir?
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sir, is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kammara Rakshita, and I'm an intern in the domain of embedded systems and IoT. And as a part of my domain, today's my task is about air quality monitors. And let's see what we can learn in this PPT. And at the end of this presentation, we can able to learn the problem statement, the effect of different types of gases to the environment, and about air quality monitors and the types of air quality monitors, and the benefits and the reference. And first of all, problem statement is nothing but it is regarding to the air pollution. As we know that from childhood age to we can learn what is air pollution, what are the effects that it affect to our health, what are the what can human faces due to this air pollution. Air pollution is nothing but contamination of the different types of poisonous gases into the air, and this contamination can regarding to some vehicles and some industries like this. As we know, the greatest incident that happened in London, the Great Smoke of London, it happened in 1953. There was a large amount of smoke that was blanketed whole the city for 5 days. So many, I think so, 7 million people were died in that incident. So due to this air pollution, lot of us can leads to death. So it needs to be correct. So like this, we can use this air quality monitors. We can see next in the slide. And coming to the effect of gases to the environment, there are different types of gases present in the environment like the CO2, nitrogen oxide, and oxygen. Oxygen is a very useful gas in the environment that can available from the trees. But due to some reasons, due to some particles that emits from the vehicles and that emits from the wastage in the industries, these useful gases can reduce. And the most poisonous gases in the environment is nitrogen dioxide. So due to these all reasons, our air pollution can happen. So to control this air pollution and to know how much it is present, we can use a device called air quality monitors. Yeah. Here we can see air quality monitors. These air quality monitors, we can able to measure how much polluted air is present in the environment and how much fresh air is the present in the environment. It has many advantages because in some of our houses, there would be some type of people who has facing asthma, and these asthma can related to some death issues also. So the air should be fresher in the home also. So we need this air quality monitors. It has many uses. Here there are two types of air quality monitors. One is emission type monitor, and another one is ambient type monitor. And this type of emission type monitor we can use in the industries and the power plants and the chemical solution preparation industries. And this emission type monitoring working depends upon the type of gases that flows from the industries, and it can able to detect how much polluted gas was emitted through the industry or how much polluted gases is emitted through the vehicles. And this is the picture regarding to the continuous emission monitoring. It can able to show the readings continuously how much polluted air was coming through our motorcycles also, as we can able to see in the highways that we are traveling, right? And here it is the block diagram recording how that emission type monitoring was work. And here it is the block regarding to the flue gases. and here it can able to show the flow of the poisonous gas, and the sampling probe and the transformation module, and these are the display systems like a HZ analyzer, stream selection, and calibration device. First of all, coming to the point, what is meant by sampling probe? Sampling probe is nothing but we can use it for knowing the sample levels of the polluted air, and these was given to the transformation module via heated lines, and this transformation module can help us how we can transform the data to consume the data correctly from the flue gas. And these transformation module was given to the stream selection, so it can able to select from the input transformation module. And HC analyzer, HG means nothing but mercury analyzer, we can able to know the levels of the mercury present in that. And the calibration device, and the calibration device is nothing but it can able to show the device accuracy, how much correct output it can shows us. And this is all about the emission type monitoring. And coming to the next, ambient type monitoring, this is the basic picture of ambient type monitoring air quality. And these are this type of ambient type monitoring we can use in our houses also, and these we can see in our surroundings like municipal corporations for knowing the pollution air in our surroundings. We can able to use in our homes also, and it can affect due to some reasons like sunlight, temperature, air pressure, humidity. As the sunlight was increases, it shows some error in this output. As the temperature also maintain the same, if the temperature and sunlight both rises, and both when slows down, this affects this ambient type monitoring output. So there is a little fault in this, we need to trigger that. And this is how it works, as it is the ambient air type monitoring. As the solar and the AC are, these are the gases that can able to read to the ambient type monitoring, and this is given to these devices like the GSM, NB IoT, Wi-Fi to the cloud. As we know that in IoT devices we have a 4 layer sensing layer, application layer, networking layer, data processing layer. And here we can see it is the networking layer. Via this networking layer, the information was stored to the cloud, and via using this cloud storage, we can able to transform the information to the display devices like TV monitoring and LED systems or mobile phones. So we can able to control in the other places also. For example, take the LPG gas leakage, or any other poisonous gases. We can able to control those poisonous gases using our mobile with this ambient type air monitoring. And here it is all about the ambient air type monitoring. And stationary source emission monitoring, it is nothing but it is a type of the emission type monitoring. Here we can use it in the specialization of the coal-fired power plants, glass manufacturing plants, and cement manufacturing plants, and the petroleum refineries. As we know that petroleum refineries needs very stability gaseous conditions. As the temperature increases, this can lead to a full of losses. So we can use this stationary source emission monitoring in some important industries. Coming to the benefits, as I mentioned before, it has a different types of benefits, like it can improve the air quality. We can able to control the air quality by using our mobile, using the cloud storage, and the protecting the health, public health, and ensuring compliance with the regulation, monitor climate change, support research and the development. As the climate change also affects this air quality, so we can able to know how the climate was changes, and these are the benefits regarding to the air monitoring system. And these are all the basic references that I followed for making this PPT. And these are some basic question and answers. So what is meant by air quality monitoring system, and why it is so important, and what are the components that we are using this air quality system, and what type of gases it can able to detect, and what type of gases it can able to control. And this is all about the air quality monitoring. And finally, to summarize that, air quality monitoring can help us to measure the amount of the fresh air that are present in the environment and the amount of the pollutant air, it should be very helpful in the homes where there is a toddlers and the small children, as we know that the toddlers and the small children has very sensitive skin and sensitive body parts, as their skin and body parts was really affected due to some bad particles that are present in the air. So by keeping this air quality monitor, we can able to save their lives also. And as we know that the Great Smoke of London, as I mentioned before, if they use that air quality monitoring systems, they can able to save 7 million people by detecting the air pollution that happened after some days. So it has a lot of uses, it can able to inform citizens what is their local air quality. If the air is really polluted, the government can really transfer that people to the new places and the safe places, and it can able to compiling with the atmospheric protection legislation, and locating contamination problem areas, and some areas we can able to see some industries that can emit poisonous gases. So they can able to detect what type of poisonous gases they can emit it, and how it can be effect to their lives, so they can take some preventions due to this. Thank you. And for any queries, please contact, this is my email. This is all about the air quality monitoring system. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Rakshita. Uh, yeah, so uh, I would like to add some points about the PPT. So, why is there your photo present in every slide? Just curiosity, if you can answer that. Hello, Rakshita. Hello.
Hello, sir.
You're audible.
Sir, actually, I need to share that PPT for correction now, sir. That's why I kept some demo presentation for understanding, sir.
Okay.
That's why I kept that video, sir.
Okay, so the flow was good. I will say the flow was very good, and you covered many monitors. And although it's a factual topic, you still gave many examples, like the London's example, which was good. And overall, the PPT was very good. It was
Thank
well
you, sir.
formatted, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Sir,
Yeah.
is there any changes I need to follow, sir?
No, I believe you covered everything, and you added pointers and explained them, so that was
Okay,
good.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I believe there is some doubt. Just a second. Yeah.
Actually, sir, can I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Sir, actually, my task is not completed. It is pending, but mistakenly I have clicked the new task assign and the schedule presentation in come in my message.
Hello.
Then I told it to the technical chat box, and the sir told me that
Hello,
you will
Indira. Hello.
cancel it.
Hello, Indira. Indira.
Hello, sir.
Just a
Hello.
minute. Just a minute. At this time, we are taking presentations, so you have to wait for general
No.
discussion. You have to wait for general
Okay, sir.
discussions. I thought you have a question related to her
Okay, sir.
PPT. That's why I unmuted you. Post in Trello, if you have any doubts, post on Trello or in technical chat. Okay. Yeah. So moving on next, we have Ankool Meena. You can unmute.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Share the screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen visible. You can start.
Yes, good evening, sir. I am Ankool Meena from in an internet hack Veda from Web Developers Group, and I'll be presenting on function scope and closures. So these are the contents I'll go through in the presentation: the introduction, functions, JavaScript scope, function closure, conclusion. Okay. For the introduction, so functions and scope and closures in JavaScript. We'll go through what are the uses and how to use them, and what are the uses in programming and importances. So for starters, we'll go through functions. So a function, JavaScript function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. A JavaScript function is executed when something invokes it or calls it. For example, so this is this. So for this, in my website, I have created a function called handle result validation for my website tic-tac-toe. So this is a function in which I have provided some particular task to given it. So for example, in this function, I have created a round one variable let initiated with false, and this provide this function checks whether the winning condition is true or not, and it will work according to it and provide with if who player is won, or if the player is no player is won, then it will go again. Okay. So why should we use functions? So you can for functions you can use the code. We can define the code once and use it many times, however many times it needed. So we don't have to write the code again and again. But you can use the same code multiple times, and we can provide different arguments in it, however we like accordingly. So we can get different results. So for now, we'll go to JavaScript scope. Scope determines the accessibility or visibility of variables in our whole web page. So it can how it can be accessed within a block in the scope. So there are three types of scope: block scope, function scope, and global scope. In block scope, we with the help of let and const, we can provide block scope in our code. So for example, in this is a block where I have initiated one variable with let and one with where, or we can use it const. So with the use of let, we can access the x variable only inside this block. So with the help of that, we use the block scope. But with the help of where or const, we can access, if we have created inside a block, we can access it outside also. Yes. For function scope, we can use a function inside the whole function. We can initiate a variable with let, const, or where, whatever we need, and we can only access it inside a function. For example, I created this round one function using let, and I can access it only inside the handle result validation function, not outside this. And for global scopes, we can define the variable outside our main function or any function. So we can access it inside every function or inside our main function globally. For example, in this code, this is a function. I can create a function variable x outside this function, and I can use that inside this function or any function I created. For closures in JavaScript, closures provide access to the outer scope of a function from inside the inner function, even after the outside function is closed. So, for example, I have created a function called calculate. This is an outside function, and I have created a function multiply inside it. Both takes a variable x and y, and both have the return types. So later, I have used const to this created a variable multiply 3 and calculate const multiply 4. I have initiated called calculate 3, the outside function, and used multiply 3 to access it, and this is called the closure. This multiply 3 and multiply 4 is a closure. So for I have used console log to get the multiply 3, and I have accessed it, the closure, but I have not given any argument to the inside function. So this console log will provide us the function definition of the calculate function. So later the console log multiply, I have given the argument to the inside function. So with the help of the inside function, we can access the outside function also. The function closure helps us in the data privacy. For example, I have provided, firstly, it only gives us the function definition of the outside function, but after giving the argument to the inside function, we can access the outside function and we can get the answer of it. For example, a function multiply takes variable y, and so first we give multiply 3 outside function variable x3, which it stores inside this, and then later we give 6 argument to the inside function, and then it will calculate and return it. So for this we get output 18, 6 into 3. So for conclusion, we learning about function scopes and closures in JavaScript is very crucial. By utilizing these, the developers can produce more efficient code, readable and maintainable code. Efficiently, they can edit the code later, and as it is more readable, and any other developer needs to access this code, they can understand very easily with the help of using these functions and scopes. These are the references I have used. This is the GitHub link, and this is my email ID, and this is website link I have created. So this is the website I have created, tic-tac-toe. First, there is always I have initiated clear X turn. So clear X turns, and it automatically changes to clear 0 turn. Then they can click on that any of the tiles. So this is a tic-tac-toe game as in zero. Displays it like that, and I can, if there is no winner for this, is 0 1 as they have 3 tiles in a row, same, and then we can reset it so we can play it again. In case there is no winner, it will announce there is no winner. Thank you, sir. You can ask me questions if you want.
So Ankool, is it done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So like to add a point, when you deliver a presentation, so 60% it's the presenter's voice and how they communicate with his or her viewer. So I feel like at that moment you were like lacking your voice was kind of low. So and there was lack of energy, like to present the presentation with this PPT. There was lack of energy, and then the slides you have made were good. Like you have added a very big fonts to cover the slides and elaborated them. You could have actually explained your demo like when we put a 0 and we'll put X. So what exactly is happening behind, like at what's exactly happening at the backend part. So you could have explained that thing. Rest the flow was
with the help of the code, or I could just explain it
with the code. You can switch between the code and the demo. You could have done that, but that's okay. Rest, yeah, the flow was okay, and you explained each topic very well. Added few codes there and explained them. But still, if I am new to it, and I will be looking some codes, so I'll be get confusing. Okay, what exactly are codes meant for? So
yes,
it's your voice that commands over the PPT. So if you're explaining a code, explain it like that way so that your viewers can understand what exactly you're explaining. So you need a bit more energy in presenting your presentations. That's all I want to add. Rest of PPT was okay. Thank you. Yeah. So next we have Mahaveer Bhajibhakare. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. I am audible.
You're audible now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Am I visible, sir?
Yes, you are visible.
Is my PPT is visible, sir?
Now it's visible.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. My name is Mahaveer Bhajibhakare. I am from Java Development Group. Today, I am here to present my presentation topic, which is developing a RESTful web services using Spring Boot. So, next slide. So, these are the contents which I follow throughout my presentation. So, first one is the introduction to the RESTful web services. The second one is the SOAP web services versus the RESTful web services. Then the development and demonstration of my web application which I have made. Then the advantages of RESTful web services, conclusion, and then references. So, uh, uh, so introduction to the RESTful web services. So, moving forward to the know what is the REST. The REST is nothing but the representational state transfer, which is nothing but the one type of web services. So RESTful web services are basically a REST architecture based web services. In this REST architecture is used where everything is a resource. So RESTful web services are nothing but they are very lightweight, highly scalable, and maintainable, and they are very commonly used to create APIs, which is the mainly a web-based application. So the RESTful web services are invented by the Roy Thomas Fielding, who invented the HTTP also, which is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So as shown in the figure, this is nothing but the working architecture of the RESTful web services. So in that the first there is a computer and mobile is shown, which is nothing but the server end, which is the client end. From that we can raise the request which is request method, which is nothing but the get, post, put, and delete method, which is nothing but the like a CRUD operation where we can create, update, delete, or post any data to the server. So these requested are reached to the application server, where these requests are processed, and if the server is needed the storage, then it reaches to the storage, which is here is connected. And regarding that, after the processing on the request, it gives the response to the client. So so next one is there are the various HTTP methods are used while working on this REST-based architecture. So the first HTTP method is nothing but the get method. So get method is nothing but the after applying the get method, we can provide a read-only access to the resources. So next one is the post method, where we can create a new resource in the database. The third one is the delete method, where we can remove the resources what we want. And then the put, if we want to update the resource in the database or in the server, so we can update the resource or create a new resource with the help of that. So moving forward to the various status codes, standard status codes are also there in the HTTP. So the following are the some of them. So first one is the 401, 404. This status code is showing that the showing used to show the resources are not found. If our request is completed, then there is the second one, which is the 200, which is showing the success of the request. The third one is the 201, which is what the resources is created successfully in the database. So and also 401, which is unauthorized resources are there in the database, and 500, which is happened when there is no server. So moving forward to the next slide. So SAP web services versus the RESTful web services. So as we know, there are the two types of web services are there. So which is nothing but the SOAP web services and the RESTful web services. So first one is the SOAP web services. SOAP web services are nothing but which having long form is simple object access protocol. and the RESTful web services is nothing but the representational state transfer. So SOP, in the SOP, we can response the service link the response with the XML, because as we know the actual response is bundled inside a SOAP message, which is always the XML format. So in the SOP, there is always the XML format is there. So while we compared with the RESTful web services, we can use the multiple formats like JSON, XML, and HTML. While SOAP uses XML messages, recognize the desired web process or resource the invoke. While RESTful web services uses the URL to recognize the desired resources to be accessed. So we can access the particular request, or recognize the particular resources with the help of a particular URL. In the SOP, we does not pose any we does not pose some restrictions on the transports, just like it can use such as HTTP or AD or AMQ, while the RESTful web services uses the famous HTTP protocol. And SOP cannot use the services because it uses the protocol. So while the RESTful web services are can be used as a SOP web services, as the architectural approach can be used some protocol like HTTP or SOP. And the XML famous is for the data exchange format, while the JSON is famous for the data exchange format in the RESTful web services. So moving forward to the next slide. And the next one is the developing the RESTful web services. So I have developed a course app for that. So the first step is for development of any RESTful any Spring Boot RESTful web services. We have to create a Spring Boot project. So for creating a Spring Boot application, we have the two options, two ways. So we can create it by the Spring Boot project with the help of Spring Initializer, or we can create the Spring Boot project in the Spring Tool Suite, which is the third-party software which is used for especially for the Spring Boot application. So in the first one, we can create the Spring Boot application by going on the site Spring Initializer, where we can add the necessary dependencies and make a zip file of that, and this zip file can be extracted in the IDE we have to use. And in the STS, we can create the Spring Starter project directly by clicking on the a file new and then the Spring Starter project, and we can add the we can change the name and choose the required Spring versions and their dependencies we want to require. So for this application, we follow such like methods, where if we process the get method with the command courses, so then we can get all the courses in the databases. If get method with the command course, and with respect to the course ID, we can get a single course of the given URL, and respect to that. So I want to show the development which I have created. So this is nothing but the code for that application. So first of all, I have created the simple Spring Boot application, which is having the name Mahaveer underscore Spring REST. Here I have first of all there is a main file which is in the package form.springrest.spring REST, where the main Java application is there, which is the Spring REST application.java. As we know, for the any RESTful web services or any Spring Boot application, we want to create a controller, where I have created a separate package for that, the controller, which is nothing but the com.springrest.controller, where I have created a Java class, which is nothing but the mycontroller.java class. So in that mycontroller.java class, the various commands are there with the get mapping with the respective mapping notification annotation. So for creating first first method, which is nothing but we want to extract all the courses in the app. So for that I have created a get mapping with which which uh, which uh, passes the courses and returns the list and call the get courses method and return the this dot course dot services, which is nothing but the get method in that method. So I have also created a one package, which is a com.springrest dot entity, where all the entities are there. Here the one course.java is file is there. So in that file, I have created the identities which we have to created. So this ID, the resources have the ID in the form of long, the title, and the author of the course. So this is the nothing but the getter setters I have add for that for the respective methods. And for the services section, I have created a special package for regarding that and services section. So this is the service is there, where we can call the methods regarding that, and this is the implementation of the what happens in the backend of the method. This is the I have created regarding that. So if you want to run that application, the demonstration. So this is running the application. So the application is running for. So I have using for that I have using the postman, where we can pass the method with respect to do. So the first method is slash dot courses for getting the all courses in the system. For that I passes that method. Which this is the localhost colon 8080 slash courses. So when we send the request, then we so the default data, which is nothing but the I have created in this file, is extracted here, which is nothing but ID in the form of JSON, which is an ID 10, title Java, and author Mahaveer, and respect to that. So if you want to get the specific course ID, then if we want to create a course ID, and then the respective course ID, which is 102. We want to 102, then we can access the respective ID course, which is nothing but the 10 with the ID and title Python, and author name is so on. If you want to post any method, then we follow the same command with the method change, which is the post, and we can add a new course. For that courses. So if we pass that method, then we can view this we can make the new course, which is I think I have 10 1110 1110 1110 106 I think. 106. And the name of the author, I think Manoj. If we pass pass the respective file in the raw and in the form of the JSON, we return we sending the request. I think this is good. So the new course ID is there, and with the title automation and author name is Mahaveer. So if we get the initial answer, then we can see that the new ID is there with the name 10, and the title of the course is automation and author name is Mahaveer. So we can also delete the respective course with the specifying the proper course ID regarding that. If we want to remove the course which we have created, so the message comes which is a course removed successfully. And if we want to extract the first one, what is all the methods, if you want to check, then it shows that the course which we have created is not in the database. So moving to the presentation. So this is the demonstration. So advantages of RESTful web services. As we know, the RESTful web services are platform independent. So it does not require any platform regarding that. It can be written in any programming language and can be executed on any platform. It provides different data format like JSON, text, and HTML and XML. As we know, in comparison to the SOP, it is very fast, as there is no strict specification like there are in the SOP. The RESTful web services are reusable and the language neutral. So the conclusion. So after working on the RESTful web services, we can easily conclude that the REST is a type of data transfer that is built upon the architecture which is the HTTP protocol, and which allows user to send and retrieve the data between the two different services using XML and JSON. And the interaction, the API interaction method in the REST application are pretty comprehensive notation with the no explicit specification as we face on the SOAP. And RESTful web services are probably not only make any application architecture better, but it also allows you to easily build API in the future to interact with the other services and application. So for that PPT, I have a reference. I have used that references which I have posted. So any questions regarding the presentation? Thank you. This is from my end. Hello, sir.
Mahaveer, are you done?
Yes, sir.
So can you scroll on the top?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so as you can see, your PPT has just too many texts. So that's not a good point. Although the flow was good, and since it's a very informative topic and there's a lot to cover, but still you could have just cut down many texts, just like in the fourth slide. Can you move to the fourth slide?
Yes, sir.
See, as you have included many topics, right? So you could have covered it in 2 slides instead of using a single slide. So it won't be looking like congested totally. So you could have used 2 slides, and then the difference between the slide, same as before. You could have just added few lines and not to actually differentiate and put every differentiating point in a single slide. You could just have added one single line and then explain them by your side. So you could just work on your PPT formatting and what you include in your slides. Then there was this demo, which was okay. I will say it was okay. There was some problem, I guess, from your side.
No, sir. There is it is lagging, so that's why
okay.
it's taking slow.
Okay. So yeah. So you included Q&A slide, and
Yes, sir.
Yeah, overall the PPT was just too much congested to read and listen to at the same time. So just add few pointers and then explain it by yourself. You have a conclusion
sir.
slide, and yeah, that's it from my side. You need to work on your PPTs and just how you explain them. Like
Okay,
yeah,
sir. I will try my best from the next.
yeah.
next time.
Overall, the flow was okay.
Yes,
Good
sir.
presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, my one presentation is pending, which is one last one.
Okay.
So from tomorrow, I have one placement drive in the morning. So when I have to present my pending presentation
In the evening.
In the evening, on the Scrum meeting, 7 p.m.
Yeah, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah, you can give
Okay,
the
sir.
presentation tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I believe it's now 8:57 p.m. and it's about to be 9 p.m. So we can't take any more presentation. The remaining presentation can be done tomorrow. So please join tomorrow at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for your presentations. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.